Hey there, hi there, Cancers, and welcome to your soulmate reading for, let's just say, ever. I don't know, timeless edition. I meant to uh, get these videos out earlier, but life happens. Transformation happens. So, this is basically timeless reading for you. Take it as it resonates, apply it to lessons you've learned for October, and um, moving into November's energy. Take what resonates with you, leave the rest. But I did do a short for you earlier, and the card that I chose for you is the Lover's card. So this is very beautiful soulmate energy. It is basically the soulmate card, other than I would say like the Two of Cups in the tarot deck. But this is a major arcana card. So this really does hold a lot of weight and significance when it comes to your soulmate energy. Okay, so that being said, basically the spread that I'm doing is the magical action spread. And a magical action is no different from normal actions. It is often a symbolic representation that is shaped by will and intent, and in turn shapes and affects the world. It is a symbol of real action and carries the same burdens and responsibilities, both ethical in facing the consequences of our choices and in understanding the sacrifices needed by our commitment. The representation of intent. This card is not drawn randomly, but it is chosen by the court. It represents what the court wants to achieve. Okay, so I did choose this card with intent for you, Cancer. Okay, I think it's a beautiful energy to hold on to and to look at in introspection and retrospection. It has a woman on here with a beautiful rainbow that I feel like she has created in your life, and divine feminine energy for sure here. Beautiful goddess energy. She's holding a golden apple. There is a man sitting in front of her with some, like, old school tablets. Like, literally, the tablets back then were on like stone. And he has a musical instrument here as well. And his palms are open to receiving the love that this woman wants to bring into his life. And by being by the divine masculine, I feel like she also is able to create some of her own magic there. Okay. So the rainbow is definitely a symbol of love and hope and believing, I feel like, in the impossible. So, and in miracles and in magic. So take it as it resonates. So we're going to take a look here at the Lover's card. Also, I had like this really interesting dream last night that I feel like really applies to your energy, Cancer. And basically, like, it has to do with like feeling like you aren't capable, or you don't have the power within yourself to um, almost like take care of yourself. And it's almost like you're dependent on another energy taking care of you um, in your times of need. And also feel like helplessness. Like I felt like this helplessness energy, where the person in your life who is your soulmate is someone who can help you, um, who you can rely on if you're hurt, and being dependent on that person. I don't want to say codependent, but I do get the sense that like maybe someone in your life has sort of tried to like blur the lines between what a healthy soulmate connection is and what codependency is, and you've become accustomed to believing it. But soulmate connections are not codependent connections. They're energies where you are able to love yourself and take care of yourself. And yes, of course, in a physical aspect, your other person can help you meet your needs as well. But there's like this energy where this, like, I feel like a beautiful goddess, is like always there for you. She's always willing to lift you up and help you. But she's not going to always give you what you want. There has to be a fine line. There has to be a balance. So I don't know. We're gonna move into this lover's energy now. So Udon and Raji rest in a yew grove. Raji sits cross-legged and wears a colorful tunic and a short-sleeved jerkin. His pants are black, and he wears knee-high boots. A lute rests on a rock at one side. To his other side, there is a stack of stone tablets with runes written on them. His eyes are open, yet he appears to be in a trance. The rune for Jibo glows brightly on his chest. Idon stands behind him, or Idon stands behind him. Her hair is long and blonde, and she wears a white dress tied at the waist. She holds a golden apple in one hand and points up to the sky with her other. Floating just off the hand is the rune of Ihwaz. In tarot, the lovers represent a choice between two people. Usually each has an intense pull towards the other. Raji and Idun are married in the Norse stories. He is god of poetry. Poems and stories evoked emotional connections to those who craft and listen to them. The gods and humans love to put their ideas into the world, as forms to celebrate and mark various occasions. Raji is here to remind you of the sweet songs and poems that tug at your emotions. Idun is the goddess of eternal youth. She is the tender of the garden from where the Asir's golden apple grows. It is by her choice and decision that the gods are granted eternal youth from eating these apples. She could let one of them age if she were feeling spiteful, at least until Ragnarok. Um, so yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the beautiful thing, and also maybe the like not so pleasant thing about a soulmate connection is that we can give the gift of this eternal youth, right? This eternal feeling of being connected to someone, but we can also just as much take it away. And that's the painful truth about love, right? And there's nothing really you can do about it other than like accept it, right? And not let it control your feelings and emotions to the point where you're shutting off um, any true connections you have with someone that doesn't want to do that, that always wants to keep that connection open to you. But I think we also have to learn at some point what connections are healthy for us and what connections are not healthy for us. So I think that's a big lesson. It's a timeless lesson. There's no time constraints on that one. Moving forward. So the key words here are a balanced give and take, connect, passion, enjoy time with others, unity, self-acceptance. And that's a huge one. A balance of give and take. That's where that codependency comes from, is like someone always wants you to give. And you're like, I can't give anymore. I don't know what to tell you. There's not much more I can give, right? I've already given a lot and I haven't seen any return and on my investment of energy. So that's when that break usually happens. That's when things start to fall apart. Um, and also if there's no passion there, that's another thing. I've seen connections where there's a lot of passion, but it's often one-sided because you give yourself to a person and they give themselves to you, and then the next thing you know they're like, that's it. It's just like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't want to say anything to you. I don't want to talk to you. That's not a healthy connection. um that's not a good solid foundation. um and you have to want to enjoy time with others too. It can't just be physical intimacy. You have to be able to enjoy being around them with other people, being sociable. That's a huge part of it as well. Now, reverse, we have an unstable source in your life, loveless relationship, hurtful emotions, lack of proportions, and forced into something. Okay. And we can usually let that cloud our judgment when it comes to who's a healthy person versus who's not a healthy person, right? So, Um, the interpreting the runes here, 2 runes appear on the lover's card, one for each veneer. Ewaz or Awaz. Awaz. I think it's Awaz. And Jebo, gift generosity, positivity, loyalty, harmony. Awaz is the rune for horse. Vikings relied heavily on horses for travel, battle, and their agrarian culture. Ehwaz also relates to the yew tree, which appears in the background image. As such, this rune explores the connections between paths of opposition or paradox. This includes spiritual ascent exploration and the movement from one state to another. It may also show how you go from a bad situation to a better one. Yeah, and also I feel like in the dream I was having that you are worthy. I feel like you were um giving not giving up on the connection, but you were like releasing the codependent energy and giving it away. And I feel like you were giving it away to this goddess, like this goddess of love and this goddess of nurturing and devotion. Maybe it was like more of like it was like feeling more of like a motherly love energy rather than like a romantic connection. It was more of this is the person who is going to take care of this codependent energy. Like you were giving that codependent energy away because I feel like you really do have this gift and this quality of always taking care of the people you choose to be with, especially when it comes to lovers. But the problem is that they're not willing to give to you, um, and that's not healthy for you. Um, so when a god takes a bite of the apples from Indun's grove, they begin to age a bit before growing young once more. Thus, the gods gain insight into mortality, something every human face on Midgard. Calling upon Awaz can help you find wisdom in the paradoxes that you face. If you are in a partnership of some sort, this rune can help you understand the complexity of being an individual while working with others towards a common goal. Jebo Jebo means gift. Many cultures practice the art of reciprocity, which is a mutually beneficial transaction or interaction. Vikings were known for their ability to give and receive gifts. There's always a need to preserve the balance. Yeah, and I feel like this person you were giving to this goddess was like never giving you anything. Um, I feel like you were taking care of this person and you really felt a strong soulmate connection with them, but they were never giving anything to you. Um, no gifts were received. What a shame. Like, honestly, what a shame. But, like, that's the thing, too, though. It's like you gave them a lot of gifts, and they never gave you even one. So, I don't know. They never brought you flowers. They never, like, took you out for a dinner or a meal or brought you a necklace or anything. And I think they thought they could get away with, being like, I'm giving you the gift of my body, And you're like, okay, that's not how that works. Okay. Not in a soulmate connection, not in a romantic way. So I feel like giving up that person was the right choice, Cancer, because there was no balance. Um, there's Jebo also refers to a need to honor contracts between two sides coming together. And I feel like this person wasn't honoring their contract with you. Like you were telling them like this connection could work if I'm getting gifts and if I'm giving you gifts. We're both giving each other gifts. And this person was like, I'm not going to give you gifts ever. I'm not going to give you any gifts ever. But you can give me gifts, but I'm not going to give you anything. Turn off. That's a major turn off for most people. Okay. For most women, that's just like, ugh, red flag. Get away from me. And also, I feel like there was no trust between the two of you because I don't think they were respecting, like, if you got physical with this person, they were going to go run and tell some past lover or some past person that they knew that was, mostly it was like a past person that was their lover. That was the hugest red flag of all. It's like, wait a second, I'm going to get physical with you and then you're going to go run and tell someone you used to like sleep with. That's really effed up. Like, that's gross. That's a breach of contract. You shouldn't be running your mouth to people. And why is that's not a good intention. That's not pure intentions. So this person was definitely playing like mind games with you, Cancer. In this way, a partnership based on love is the ultimate gift between two loving individuals. Yeah, and love is about respect. And this person was not respecting you. I feel like you would like hit them up and be like, "Hey, how are you doing? Let's talk." And then they would like reject it. They would be like, "Oh, I'm busy. I don't have time for you. I don't have time to talk to you, but I have time to sleep with you." It's like, nah. That's not how this is gonna work. Okay, that's not a soulmate connection. So, just some things to look out for. Okay, now if you're not looking for a soulmate connection, you're just looking, to hook up with somebody. This does not apply to you. Okay, Cancer. But I think that who you choose to spend your time with, and in choosing a lover and choosing a soulmate, is got to take some things into consideration. Some people view the creative arts of writing poetry, drama, and song as gifts from the gods. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. You want your lover to, I feel like, be creative like you. It really appreciate the creative aspects of you, Cancer. The writing, the poetry. Now, the drama, I'm not talking like baby mama drama, baby daddy drama. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, enjoying discussing movies together or shows together or art together, something that draws you into each other and connects on very different levels, very deep, meaningful, intellectual levels. Not like, my baby mama is like gonna like lose her shit when she finds out that, I'm attracted to so and so. No, no, no. That's so stupid. That's childish. Like, that's just no. I just no. Okay. And songs as gifts from the gods. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I think your soulmate really connects with you through music and through songs. Maybe they'll tell you to listen to a certain song, and that's their way of telling you how they feel about you and how they feel about the world, how they perceive themselves. There's many different interpretations of how we listen to a song and how it moves us and how it motivates us, and music and dance is very connective to like psychic abilities and visions and getting in touch with your higher self and spirituality. So I think that's what really you're looking for in a person to talk about these deep, meaningful things with. I was just listening to a reader, and she said this like really profound thing that I feel like was like so profound. And she was saying, I can't remember the exact word for word, but the divine, I'm just paraphrasing here, okay? But the divine isn't like trying to say like your life doesn't matter or any of that. In fact, it's trying to draw you in to see the theater of your life and how it's playing out, scene by scene, act by act, and draw you in to interpreting that and feeling that energy. And it was just really beautiful. And I think that applies to you. Like, when you see the theater of your life, the divine is calling you to just be more in tune with that energy. Um, you know, so perhaps in this deck, Braji's loot and tablet show new stories of the Asir in exchange for a clan's ability to send more stories and gifts back to Valhalla. If Jebo appears for you, recognize the gifts that gods have given you, whether it is the food on your table or a song. There must be a balance between what we take and what we offer. And I feel like you are one of those people, Cancer, where you offer up the food on your table. You offer up the roof over your head to share with others. You offer up the money you make to help others get. They said talked about horses here, but I think that has in the modern age, in the modern day, I think you can relate to that as cars. Like think about transportation. Cars are like an essential necessary thing people need to transfer themselves around. Okay, to get the food and put it on the table. Okay, we don't all live on a farm growing food and hunting. That's not everybody's reality. So I think you have helped this person, Cancer, in the past. Give them the money to get a car. Give them the money to transport themselves. Give them the money and the support, the emotional support, the physical, intimate support. You've given them all the supports, and they gave you nothing. They gave you nothing. In fact, they just complained the whole time about a past lover that didn't want to be with them anymore. And I wonder why that lover didn't want to be with them anymore. Probably because they did the same thing. They never gave anything. But I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm just sensing a pattern here. But I feel like in the dream, you were giving this person's energy that wasn't giving you anything, wasn't balancing anything out with you, wasn't making any promises and acts of care and acts of devotion and gifts. They weren't giving you anything. They were just taking. And you finally said, you know what? I had enough. And I feel like you might have had like a father figure in this dream with you that was like sort of serving as like a protective energy, saying, telling you, Cancer, it's time to give it up. It's time to hand it over to the goddess. Let her deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the divine feminine. And that's what you're doing here. So, and that's what you've done here. So that makes room for new love to come in. That's what makes room for new connections to form. And that's really what you want anyway. I think you're tired and sick of the old, been there, done that, didn't amount to much because that person, unfortunately, Cancer, I feel like used you and decided to end the relationship and ghost you and treat you like garbage when all you did was treat them like the beautiful human that is somewhere deep down in there. They just gotta yank that part out and start using that divine in them. I feel like they've stuffed it down so deep that, maybe you can't reach it. And that's okay. You can hand it over to whoever else, whoever wants to deal with that. Okay, because it's not going to be you, Cancer. You're not going to let people be codependent on you because you've already learned how to not be codependent on others and just rely really on yourself and have healthy connections and healthy boundaries. This person still hasn't learned that. As much as they want to say, oh, I'm a grown up now, I'm mature now. I'm like, prove it. Prove you're grown up. Prove you're mature. They don't want to do it. It's going to hand it over. Representation of will. This card and the two that follow are drawn randomly. After shuffling the deck, it represents the resources the current can rely on in order to fuel their action and proceed according to their intent. So I'm going to draw these three cards. Representation of will. Let me shuffle. And then we have the next two cards, which are representation of sacrifice and I think representation of consequences. So, and also the lovers, that is the divine feminine. That is the divine masculine. And both, I feel like, appeared in your dream as you would have envisioned them, as this is what a divine masculine would tell me to do in this situation, and help motivate me to say, you know what, this person isn't balancing things out. This person isn't giving you gifts. This person isn't acknowledging what you've given them and saying thank you for what you've given them. They're just trying to hurt you and use you even more. So now it's time to hand them over to the divine feminine. So let the divine feminine, let the divine masculine do their job and sort that out. In the meantime, well, we're going to figure out what's happening. All right, because a real good soulmate connection isn't trying to use you and make you feel bad when you've like literally given them like so much. You like, I feel like you gave them a car, to be honest. I feel you were like, here's some money, go get a car, and now they're like, you've done nothing for me. You mean nothing to me. It's like, okay, a car in this day and age is a big deal, so you know, whatever. But okay. Alrighty, so yeah, so we have the Four of Swords. So this is like a Viking funeral. Wow, I just had a dream about a funeral too. Interesting. Okay, so I really do like feel like my dreams connect with my readings. So I feel like they're like messages from like divine here. So you know, bragging rights, like, but I think it helps, you know, because you have this ability within yourself, Cancer, to use your dreams to help you make decisions in life, right? And even not too long ago, I had a dream about like a soulmate, or you know what I was perceiving as like some two people who could be in a soulmate connection, possibly two people who were lovers, and the man in the relationship uh like like did the woman in the relationship dirty, like he did her dirty. So and then I feel like the woman, like, she made the decision to be like, that's my sign that I'm not supposed to be with this person, because they're not even really acknowledging like fully what they did to me. They're like saying what they think they I want to hear, but then they're doing me dirty again and again and again and again. When I never did them dirty once, that's not cool. So they're living some old karmic cycle where they're not learning the lesson the first time around. They're not picking up on the signs the first time around. So why even bother? And I feel like that's kind of what's happened here. So, Four of Swords, Viking funeral. Okay, let's see. So, this is the representation of will. This card and the two that follow are drawn randomly. Okay. I kind of want to draw the representation of sacrifice and consequences. Let's see. Okay, Knight of Cups. Oh, that makes sense. The Knight of Cups is that knight in shining armor that has so much going for him. He wants to give you emotional support. He wants to hold you up. He wants to rescue you, love you, kiss you, devote his life to you. And I had a feeling that once this, like, you know, Halloween is like tomorrow. So once this, like, death transformative energy, you know, you have to grieve a little bit. You do. When a connection is died, maybe not literally, but metaphorically, spiritually, you have to do the Viking funeral, okay, so to speak. So we're gonna find out about that. And then sure enough, I knew it, I felt it. You're emotionally intelligent, um, giver of gifts, because the Knight of Cups is the giver of gifts, I think. You know, I really do, because that's like a true sign of like a soulmate connection, is when someone understands you on an emotional level and connects with you very deeply on an emotional level. That I do feel is like a soulmate connection, or a start of one, at least the start of one. So and then we have here the representation of consequences. Ooh, we got the Seven of Swords. Oh yeah, we got the knight hiding behind this. What's that? A tree or statue? It's like a statue there of like a god or something, ready to attack these men coming over here. So that's interesting. All right, so let's take a look here at the representation of will. This card and the two that follow are drawn randomly, and after shuffling the deck, it represents the resources the coin can rely on in order to fuel their action and proceed according to their intent. And your intent is to find a true, healthy soulmate connection and attract that. So let's take a look here at this Four of Swords. Let's see. So the four Vikings stand on a coastline. They look out to the water where a Viking longship burns. Each one of the Vikings has a sword at their side. They wear light armor and their hair is braided and kept clean. The longship slowly burns in the water. Short hills and snow capped mountains appear in the distance. Dark clouds fill the sky overhead. A single rune hangs over the longship. The Four of Swords is a pause, a silent reprieve from the mental action and challenges the mind faces. Early Viking culture cremated the bodies of their dead. They would often torch multiple bodies on a pride. A pier. How does that? I don't know. Somebody simultaneously. Boats were important symbols of safe passage and fare for souls to reach the afterlife. Vikings would often use the same ships that the honored dead rode in as their final resting places. As the four Vikings look on as their kin are sent to their final resting place, they take the time to regroup and think about their next moves. When this card appears in a reading, it is time to take a break. Step away from what you are doing to gain clarity and understanding for your next step. Upright contemplation, resting, preparing for your next move, heal your mind, gain clarity, reversed, fast thoughts, hesitation, rushing into a situation, struggling against rest. Bind rune, help to create projects. Interpreting the runes. Gare represents the passage of time needed to slowly mature and harvest. And I think that is very essential in this connection because this is definitely in relation to someone that you have had to like block or ghost or like um, break up with because they weren't giving anything really. And you know, I think it was just a reminder and a wake up call that you needed to reassure yourself that you made the right choice. That, you know, even though you tried your hardest to make the relationship work, you really needed two people to make the relationship work. And this person wasn't willing to put in the effort and energy and work into the relationship, probably because they were still stuck in the past and they haven't moved on from that yet. They hadn't moved on from that. And you were a good, like, mental break from it. And I feel like you were a good emotional, like, you know, support system there. And I feel like you gave physically, and I feel like you gave financially. You were really fully invested, but they weren't there. And even though you did all that you could, it really showed yourself. Like you really learned a lot about how you are in relationships and how loving you are and how caring you are and how giving you are. But the reality is that I feel like, these messages of like, it's time to give it up. It's time to take a break because you're giving too much and you're receiving nothing. And it's probably driving you crazy. So now it's time to take a rest, take a break, have a Viking funeral for them. No, I'm just kidding. But they don't deserve it. No, but just like let them fade away into the distance. Let them be cremated through time, right? Like over time, hopefully they'll have some transformations. They'll hopefully mature. They'll hopefully become more emotionally intelligent. And who knows what could happen. But as of right now, they're just not there. So you allow yourself to take. This is a great sign from the universe that it's like you. This this is what needed to happen all along. Okay, you needed some clarity. You got some. They're still not fully there. And you'll always be this loving, giving person. I feel like you're a romantic at heart. You really are Cancer, but they're just not going to be there, and that's okay. You don't need to let that stop you from having a good life. You don't need to let that stop you from loving yourself. You definitely don't need to let that stop you from forming new connections with healthy people that want to love you, that want to give you gifts, because you deserve them. So, hand it over, release it, give it to the goddess who's going to take care of that problem for you. And now you get to rest and you get to relax and you get to do what you got to do. Okay. And that's not like, that's not a huge, problem for you, really. It's really not. So that's what makes it so great is that it's kind of like that energy shift is more easier when you accept it, right? And when you detach yourself, because the Four of Swords is definitely saying detach. Like, yes, be sad that this person metaphorically died because they, and spiritually and soulfully died or killed the connection because they can't, they don't know how to keep it alive. They don't. They don't know how to nurture it. They don't know how to help it grow. They don't know how to work at a relationship. And it's unfortunate and sad. And it's okay to be sad about it. It's okay to be grieved about it. And then move on. And through that healing process, you'll regain your strength and more clarity. And your rest and your recovery will just get easier and easier every single day because you're accepting it and you're literally detaching yourself physically from them, mentally from them, emotionally from them, and that's it's a huge thing. All right, so now we're going to get into the Knight of Cups, which is about sacrifice. So that's going to be interesting. Okay, so the Knight of Cups. So here we have a man, and there's a whale in the sky, and he's holding his horn, which is his cup, and he's riding his white horse. Okay, so this is representation of sacrifice. It represents the understanding that in order to gain something, something must be surrendered. Okay, yeah, and I think a lot of connections that can be like very misleading will like try to uh, like they're willing to let you sacrifice a whole lot, but they're not willing to sacrifice anything. So that can, you know, be a lot to deal with. So letting go can be as much important as to grasp. So presentation of sacrifice. Let's see. Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. A Viking ranger sits on a white horse at the edge of the ocean. The horse has metal armor protecting its head and neck. The figure on the horse's back wears green pants and a tunic under leather armor. A long blue cape blows behind them. Their hair has been braided. They raise their drinking horn high in the air. Their gaze is looking at something off in the distance. Two whales jump in and out of the water behind them. The Knight of Horns follows their heart. They know their passions when their heart sings and sends them butterflies. When you get these feelings, you are being asked to rush off and chase those ideas. Poetry delights this night. They enjoy romance in all its forms and take life at their own pace. Use the power of the Knight of Horns to guide you into the places you genuinely want to be. Lean into the gifts the gods have given you. Embody the youthful approach to life. Enjoy the ride. Upright. Be open to your feelings, understand others' needs, fight for your ideals, seek worthy causes, enjoy physical pleasures. Reversed. Scheming, unrequited love, overwhelming emotions, unpredictability, take unnecessary risks. Find root. Blessings on your passion and adventures. Elemental attributions. Water, spiritual power, inner strength, surging of emotions. Fire, creative power, outer strength, passions, and desires. So obviously a very good card to get moving forward after giving up, after sacrificing that connection that was like so codependent on you. That basically means they were dependent on you for their happiness, and you gave them happiness again and again, time after time. That was this like standard of your relationship, but the standard was an unfair standard to hold you to these high standards of being devoted to them, of giving to them. And yet they gave nothing to you. And that was very unfair. And you called it out. And they had nothing in return to even say about it, other than I'm sorry, which is fine. It's just like there needs to be more than that in order for this relationship to work. That's not a passionate response. It's not a creative response. Okay, that's very one-dimensional. You're not looking for one-dimensional. You're looking for multi-dimensional, multitude of aspects. Um, so the Knight of Cups is definitely someone who understands that and at least can try to accomplish these passionate, creative endeavors with you. And that's going to be interesting because after that comes representations of consequences. It represents how the situation may evolve and change, and it points out the responsibilities of the current for the good and the bad. As a symbolic act, the current may carve or draw the runes he finds in the cards in order to connect with greater depth with his own intent, to channel his own will, to accept the sacrifice, and to face the consequences of their actions. Okay? So, someone who isn't willing to face the consequences of their actions, no, that's a no-go. Because this person did make bad choices and they don't want to acknowledge that. They want to shift all the blame onto you and make it seem like you're the one who is causing all the problems when you are really the one coming up with all the solutions. So you gave up a lot and you knew the consequences of giving up so much. And I feel like a little bit of you didn't really know either. So like, it was kind of like you had never been in this kind of dynamic before, but you learned about it real quick, and or eventually over time, because I think you just didn't want to believe it at first. I think at first you were hopeful, and then you were like, okay, wait a second, like I gotta reevaluate this. And if it wasn't for those people who had your back, those people that were supporting you, those people who saw you suffering, saw what was happening to you, saw the injustices being done to you, saw the imbalances being done to you, if it wasn't for them, then you might still be in that energy. But I feel like you learned a lot, and now you're moving on. Okay? And we have the 7 of Swords. Okay, so definitely an action. Okay, definitely definitely new energy happening here. A Viking hides behind a stone carving of Odin. Oh, it's Odin. Okay. They wear 3 swords. 2 are on their back, and they are drawing one from their sheath. The Viking wears black armor. The statue provides a perfect hiding place. 2 Anglo-Saxons walk down the road. The 2 knights wear armor and have multiple swords on them as well. One wears a full suit of plate mail armor. The other is dressed in leather. They are unaware of the Vikings' presence. Instead, they move slowly down the road, enjoying the discussion. 3 runes appear on the card, 1 on the Anglo-Saxon and 2 near and on the Viking. The 7 of Swords shows a tricky situation. The Viking has targeted 2 others. There must be good reasons for this. Perhaps the one in leather sold out the Vikings' clan to their enemy, the Anglo-Saxons. And that's what I think this person did to you. I think they like sold you out, or they wanted to sell you out, and that's not like, that's not right. That's just not right. So that's not a soulmate connection. So your soulmate isn't someone who's gonna like be with you physically and then go run and tell their exes or run and tell other people that they're sleeping with you. It's just, that's not emotionally intelligent. That's not. I feel like once you've gotten that information, it's like already like, okay, I'm done with this connection. Like, this is a fucking waste of time. Okay? So, okay. So basically, um, the Viking has targeted two others. There must be a good reason for this. Perhaps the one in leather sold out the Viking's plan to their enemy. In any case, the Viking feels that they need to take care of the matter with their hand. They need to act with honest intentions. Otherwise, they could be putting more at risk than just a few lives. Um, yeah, I mean, you have to like put yourself first. If this other person is going to be like shady, if they're going to betray your trust, if they're going to do you dirty, then you have to protect yourself. You don't have a choice. So, like, you don't have to feel bad about that. They already betrayed you. So it's fine. Like, don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel bad about it. Like, you gave them a chance. You gave them a fair chance, and they screwed it up. So, yeah, I mean, that is what it is. Act with integrity, trickery, taking the first move, betrayal, dealing with the enemy. Reverse, focus, be sincere. When you are being lied to, be honest. Gain perspective on the situation. So that's the thing, is like, you are being sincere with yourself, because you were being lied to, and you were being betrayed, and you still tried to like reason with this person and say, look, like, you're lying to me, you're betraying me, like, I don't know why you're acting this way toward me, I never acted this way towards you. And they have nothing to say for themselves, nothing. So that's the consequences of it all, right? Vine Rune, have a spiteful desire to silence those against you. Yeah, I mean, you might be a little bit spiteful. I mean, you're only human, Cancer. Uh, you're just a human. Don't feel bad about it. I wouldn't feel bad about it. If you gave this person so many chances, if you invested so much energy into them, if you helped them like literally buy a car, and they turn around and threw it back in your face as if it was nothing and meant nothing, they didn't even take you for a ride in the car, nothing. No, absolutely not. No. And then what about when you need a car? Are they there to help you out? No, they're not. So it's like one-sided. Interpreting the runes represents quick wit. Sigil indicates an abundance of energy and readiness. Gar represents Odin's weapon, an external powerful assistance. And that's what you have. You have an external powerful assistance that comes from Odin, that comes from the gods, the goddesses, source, divine, whatever you want to call it. It's your energy, it's your power within yourself, and you're going to watch it grow. You're going to watch it flow. You're going to watch it manifest into something beautiful. That's what the rainbow is all about. It comes back to this beautiful rainbow where you're creating love, you're creating hope, you're creating magic within yourself with divine masculine, divine feminine. And that's what a soulmate, if in the physical form, you want a male that embodies these energies as well. Yeah, so basically, that's all that encompasses this soulmate connection, Cancer. And I feel like the rainbow also serves as like a roof over your head, like a relationship where it's like you're both working towards common goals, having a roof over your head, having food on the table, just like the basic essentials of a good, healthy relationship. And if you guys can focus on that and making that, figuring out the basics is the important thing here, and that itself will start to create this love and this magic and manifest this golden apple that's like eternal growth and youth, the youth and the growth of your relationship, um, with your person and also with yourself. So that's my message for you. Love and light always, Cancers. Also, let me know what you're dressing up for as Halloween. I haven't really fully decided yet, but I have some ideas. And because I didn't make it and get all the signs in this month, I'll probably just do like an all signs reading tomorrow, a happy Halloween special where I just talk about soulmate energy until moving into November. And let me know. Alrighty. Love and light always, and take care.